a possible earthquake as tremors increase. Basically, like I was telling Reverend Kojo this morning, it works like contractions when you're about to be delivered of a baby. So the closer the duration between these earth tremors, the higher the possibility of a major quake. And in the past few months, we've had a number of quakes. So this morning, we want to ask how ready we are as a people, how prepared we are for the possibility of an earthquake. And I want to ask you personally, are you prepared for the possibility of an earthquake? And this is not just limited to us here in Kaswa or Weija or anywhere around Accra, actually. The amount of traffic that goes through the capital, the fact that our only international airport is here, the quote-unquote gateway to the rest of the world is here. So if you want to, and the amount of business that is done here, the people whose children are here from other parts of the country, it's very important that we begin to think through earthquake preparation and earthquake prevention. Well, you can't really prevent one, can you? So it's sort of a preparation for an earthquake that we can do. So do you know what to do in the event of an earthquake? Are you personally prepared for an earthquake? I have a good friend who sends me this message. She's a safety professional, a health and safety professional. She says, Daniel, emergency preparedness is a joke in this country. We should all stock up of water and essential food just in case we are cut off from supplies. We need to keep a stock of essential medication and have a first aid box at home. We should have the basic safety things like a fire extinguisher at home. Have LPG and charcoal at home so water can be heated when needed. The health and safety bill has been in Parliament. He says, as a safety professional, it's frustrating that our culture towards safety as a people is very abysmal, coupled with no laws to back most of what we do. Extreme or necessary? Let's go on the phone lines to begin today's conversation. Before I come to Raymond and anymore, George AC is PRO for NADMO. He's on the line. Good morning, Mr. AC. Thanks for joining us.
Yeah, good morning, Daniel.
Hope all is well this morning.
That is great. Good.
Great. So your Director General for NADMO is on record to have told us that the President has shown interest in the recurrence of earth tremors in parts of the national capital, and he has directed the National Security and the Ministry of Interior to work on National Earthquake Preparedness Plan. Is that to suggest that before the President's directive, this plan did not exist?
Good morning to your listeners. I cannot completely say this plan did not exist because I know, if you remember last year, March, we had an earthquake simulation exercise here, tabletop and then full scale. The tabletop was at Gassi and then the full scale was at the Accra Sports Stadium. Right after that, we had an earth tremor around the Tetegu area. And so this talks have started. It's been ongoing. But to get a full-scale plan, I cannot say whether we didn't have one. But now I know talks are ongoing to have this as directed by the President.
So what talks are ongoing now?
Preparatory talks. The Geological Department of NADMO and the Geological Service people, of course, and then the National Security and Code. Because the Geological Survey people are saying these earthquakes themselves these tremors are earthquakes in themselves. The only difference is the magnitude, the scale. And so anything above 4 or 5.56, thereabout, will cause this destruction and devastation. But these ones are not up to that point. And so it tells us that there are signals that an earthquake can occur anytime. And so as we experienced in March last year, December last year, and then, of course, I think January and now, they appointed that indeed we should be ready, and then we need to do something about it as a nation. And so the President's call is in the right direction.
Mr. AC, my question was, what is being done now?
No, it's to develop a contingency plan on earthquake, as you say it. And so that is what is being done. There are talks to put fire surveys, 48 engineers, ambulance service. They have documents on the response to earthquake, So they need to come together and put them together in a complete document as a plan that we can use to, if we need to do education, and then to be prepared to respond to earthquake contingency or emergency.
I have here a publication on GhanaWeb.com from Sunday, 23rd December. It says, prepare for imminent earthquake, NADMO warns. And in fact, your Director General, Eric Nana Gyamah-Mprempeh, is quoted here. With the recent earth tremors happening, we caution the citizens to prepare for any imminent occurrence of earthquake disaster. So from 23rd December to now, what specifically has NADMO done?
Oh, no, we need to, it was part of our Xmas message that the Director General gave to the Ghanaian populace. It's because the Geological Survey people have told us that these tremors are signals that we can have an earthquake. And then again, they've also said the farther away we are from the last earthquake, the closer we are to the next one. And so we felt we needed to caution the public. We are getting our educations on the ground. We need to have more education material so that the contents of those materials will be able to go into the communities along the fault line to carry out constant education. So people will have knowledge of the earthquakes, and then they can be prepared to respond. And then we, the emergency agency, to our readiness and preparedness to respond to save lives in case it happens, so that the public will be assured that we are also ready to respond appropriately.
Again, my question was, between 23rd December and now, what has NADMO done?
Oh, NADMO keeps, that's always saying there are talks with the partner agencies on what to develop the contingency plan. And then our community, NADMO in the districts and quarters, especially those districts along the fault line, to be carrying out education so that people get to understand that the earthquake is with us and it can happen.
When did these talks with partner agencies begin?
Oh, it has started, but it's at the preparatory stage. It's yet to go into the full-scale workshop, and then the ideas will all be put together into a major plan as by the president. And so this is being done, but I know that there's been some preparatory meetings already.
When were these preparatory meetings held?
I cannot give you the specific date, but I'm aware it started already.
How different are these preparations from what the president is now asking the ministries for Interior and National Security to do?
The preparatory ones, you meet, the areas, the format, how it's going to go. And then when you are actually going to have the first major meeting to put all the ideas together into a plan. And so these must be done before the major one comes in. And I know anytime soon, maybe by next week, they'll have the major meeting.
Maybe by next week?
Yes. I say maybe because there's to be a final meeting between me and my boss to know the specific date for these meetings. All the partners must be ready and in agreement for the day for the meeting before they can have that.
How prepared are we currently for an earthquake?
We are very prepared. As I said, NADMO last year had a simulation exercise in partnership with the North Dakota Guard. They have been experiencing earthquakes, so they have the expertise. It was sponsored by the U.S. Embassy and brought all the partner agencies, 48 engineers, fire service, the police service, ambulance service, of course, fire service, and ourselves. And so we've done these exercises to see. We did it at the Accra Sports Stadium. At that time, they were reconstructing part of the Accra Sports Stadium. So we had a scene that shows like there's been an earthquake, and we use it for our exercises. Yes, we know the partners that must be raised immediately, the effects, and then what we need to do to respond in order to mitigate the effects on the citizens. So NADMO is ready.
Beyond this simulation exercise, what has been done?
No, for now, we keep revising our notes and waiting to see. And once we keep getting these tremors, it also puts us up to get ready that anything can happen. And as I explained earlier about tremors actually per the seismographers being earthquake, we know anything can happen at any time. And we are also aware of the fault lines, and our men are ready to respond.
Since you admit here that anything can happen at any time, if, touch wood, something were to happen today, what would NADMO do?
Definitely. Our search and rescue team is ready. Our collaborating partners are ready. If we need heavy earth-moving machines and Co. 48 will be there to bring machines that can lift boulders and others. NADMO itself, we have the men, the search and rescue team people, operations to move in, fire service, ambulance. The collaboration is already there. And so we will just activate it and then we'll move into save as many lives as we can.
So, Mr. AC, what can a citizen do now if this citizen were to experience something like this?
Yeah, that will be in the content of the education materials. When you haven't said one, definitely we need to begin to develop structures that are earthquake resistant. But as you and I are aware, the fault line, Makati Hill, Mwanyanyano, all the way to the Kuyapem ranges, most buildings are not earthquake resistant. They didn't design them that way. And so when it happens, they advise that you either get under your bed or you get under a table or you move, if you can, as quickly as possible to an open space so that, you know, in case there's collapse of structures and you'll be safe. So there are more other things that will be contained in the education materials that we're going to be rolling out.
And when will these education materials be rolled out?
Yeah, we have some. They are not enough, but we believe we need to revise them. I took a note to the geological officer in our place, and then, of course, I took a memo to my Director General for us to redevelop them and then get more material. So I believe within 1-2 weeks we should be able to have them and then set off to do more work.
1 week or 2 weeks?
Yes, we hope so.
1 week or 2 weeks?
That's what we are hoping.
I am asking you to pick one for me. 1 week or 2 weeks?
Okay. Yeah, let me take the 2 weeks angle. 2
weeks?
Yeah, we're hoping so.
Mr. AC,
because there's already a memo on the table of my Director General for us to get these things from my department.
Mr. AC, for the material that you had, when was the last time any one of them was distributed?
Oh, we've been distributing fire, floods, and all that. We give it to our districts, and they go into the communities and do that. The earthquake one, we don't have enough, and I thought we need to revise them. When I was given the one there, I thought there should be a revision of it, and then we can produce more and distribute.
Mr. AC, when was the last time an earthquake prevention education flyer or bill was handed out by NADMO?
I cannot. I've been since I came. We've not done any search on earthquake.
Okay, in that case, we all need some education at this point.
Yeah.
So, can you take us through some of the steps that as citizens we would need to go through if we want to prepare for the possibility of an earthquake?
One, as I'm saying, you should be in the know that where you stay in, one, you should have that knowledge that it's a fault line. If you do, then what do you do? If you get the signals, that is difficult. The geological survey people say it's difficult to predict the time, moment, day that is going to happen. And so once these signals are coming, there are signs that you should know. One, if you are in your room, you need to be in a corner. That's what the experts are saying. Go into a corner, get under a bed, or go under a table, or get out of the room. When there is such, you get the signal that there's a tremor or a shaking of the place. So these are signals that things you need to do. If you can get your family into a corner or move out immediately. There are others that maybe the content of the materials will give us as we go on. We'll be educating the public on.
Great. So on an individual level, and of course, I'm sure that some of these education material, like you said, in 2 weeks, would get them. We are getting some more material that we'll put out. But, something just occurred to me, Mr. AC.
Yeah.
With earthquakes, we have a challenge with transportation often.
Yeah.
I mean, realistically speaking, when the earth splits, you can't drive through a split. What are the mitigation measures you have at NADMO for a special case like this?
Yeah, that's why we're working in collaboration with the Ghana Army, 48 engineers, and then, of course, they will link up to the Air Force if there's the need for us to use a helicopter. That's a simulation exercise. All these things came up. The ambulance service, the Ghana Health Service, and there are points where maybe cars cannot go beyond. So you need the services of a helicopter to move in. We have this thing to activate that for the Ghana Air Force to move in with their helicopters to support, so we can reach places that are not we can ordinarily not reach with a vehicle. And then the men that we can move to the area to rescue, the Army, the 48 engineers people are ready. They were all part of the simulation exercise, and all these coordinations were done. So in case it happens, the mitigating effects are these ones that I told you. Where cars cannot move, helicopters can be brought in to get to those places.
What about in case communication lines are not available?
Yeah, all these things came up. We brought the issue of bringing the MTN, Vodafone, and others in to support in times like that, and then electricity company in case those things are not there. If there's the need to reach them to put off the light because there's danger and so all these things have been thought through, and I believe the major plan that the president is tasked the team to work on, these things will all be incorporated therein.
Now, prevention is one of the main mandates of NADMO, right?
Yeah.
Would you agree that if you want to prevent human damage from a disaster like this, planning and siting of buildings is a part of it?
Yes, very much so.
In that case, what work have you been doing with the Lands Commission and the various municipal, metropolitan and district assemblies when it comes to planning of settlements and giving out of building permits? Yeah,
to be honest with you, the new the new Act 927 of 2016 that NADMO is now operating with, will be given the responsibility to do those things. When you're putting up a structure, you need to have a disaster clearance certificate from us before you can go ahead. And so we needed to have our officer to inspect and authenticate whether the place is appropriate or not before we give you those certificates. But we can only implement it when an LI is passed in Parliament. And we've gotten to advanced stage in the preparation of the LI to give biting meaning to these contents of the Act 927. And so we're doing that. But before then, we are working in partnership with the assemblies. In fact, the now District Disaster Committee is chaired by the Chief Executive of each assembly. And so they are already we are working in partnership with them already. There are certain places, if there's disaster, the District Chief Executive supports NADMO officers to move in to help. And so in the planning and we are to be part of it. But going forward, we've been given the mandate per Act 927 to make a position or a decision before somebody can start putting up structures. So going forward, there's hope for that.
So what is preventing you from carrying out your mandate in Act 927?
No, you need the LI. You need the house.
In the order of business for the current sitting of this Parliament, this LI is not there. So at what stage are we in passing this LI?
We are in an advanced stage, very advanced. I'm aware of that. Our technical and legal teams are working seriously on that. And any moment, it will be put before. In fact, I think a draft has been sent to the committee to study it before it comes back, and then the final document is sent to Parliament to be passed. So we are in advanced stage.
Pardon me, Mr. AC, I missed that. You said a draft has been sent where?
Yeah, I understand the committee, select committee, to study it and then see if there are changes to be made. They will be brought back for us to make them and then sent back to Parliament.
Has the draft been up? Go ahead.
Yeah, our legal team and technical team have been working on this since, last year. 2017 up to last year, it's been in a workshop where we were talking about these, the LI. It's been brought to us and we've made inputs and changes all over, and it's going back to the Parliamentary Select Committee to work on it, and then they will give final approval. If they still recommend changes, it will be done before it is finally passed. So
this draft has been approved by Cabinet?
No, we are doing the technical this thing. It must go through the stages before it goes to Cabinet when we are all sure that everything within is proper. Before Cabinet, and then it goes to Parliament for approval.
Excuse my ignorance, but doesn't it come from Cabinet before it gets to Parliament. Isn't that how bills work?
Yes, it's not a bill yet. We are doing the preparatory work. And so you need to take it to them to take a look at it, and then they advise us on what to do. And so when it gets to cabinet, then it means everything that we've done, the content is the final thing that we have all accepted. And then cabinet approves it and pushes it to Parliament for the bill to be passed. But now is not a bill yet. So we need to do dot the I's and then cross the T's before we take it to cabinet and then onward to Parliament.
Now, the Wager Ridge is very close to the epicenter for the fault line passing through the Shire Hills area.
Yeah.
We've already had issues with a possible landslide. I remember when your Director General visited Sierra Leone a couple of years ago, he told us in Sierra Leone that there's a danger as the Wager Ridge.
Yeah.
There are 5,000 people and more living there.
Yeah.
What's the NADMO plan for the area?
Yeah, in fact, our geology people went there to study the area. They came out that the place is actually not safe, especially the continuous sand winning and stone winning activities that are going on there. And these ones, we understand, according to the geologists, when these activities go on, they affect the fault line, sometimes earth movement and others, and can bring a dangerous effect on the people. Not more geological people have been there and have come back. We're yet to have the way forward on that. There's another team that I'm aware of that was, I think your station reported it, went there with them. And then I called my geological people to give me a briefing on what is actually happening, because Joy FM and a team went there. And then they gave me the briefing that, yes, they are aware of that and they've also been there. And this is the report they are working on to get us a better position on it, so that we'll know what to do.
So some would say that from 2017, when your Director General made this statement till now, a lot of time has elapsed for us to get to a conclusion stage on what to do at Wager Ridge, you know? Yeah,
that's what I'm talking about is last year. Your listing, even I listened to it, and then that prompted me to call the geological department head to brief me on what is actually going on. I was also worried as you. And so, yes, work is ongoing, but as to where they have reached, I need to get back to him to know what it is and what we need to do to whether get the people away from there or they will continue to be there, and there are other mitigating measures put in place to help them. I cannot put a finger on which of them. It will come from the experts in that department.
When can we get clarity on the steps NADMO will take about the Wager Ridge area?
Then I will talk to them and then I'll get back to you. I will have a briefing. I'll call the head of department to give me a briefing, and where we have reached, then I can speak to you on that.
When?
Anyway, today I will be in talks with him and then get back to you.
So I can call you by close of business today?
Yes.
And inform listeners tomorrow?
Yes, you can do that.
I'll be very grateful, Mr. AC.
You're welcome.
Okay. Mr. George AC, thank you very much for joining us this morning.
Oh, okay. We are grateful. Mobile is proud of you, Daniel.
Thank you very much. That was a sucker punch from George. George AC is Public Relations Officer for the National Disaster Management Organization. So much has been said, Raymond. Okay, so specifically to earthquakes, education materials for regular citizens will be brought out soon. There was a simulation exercise for a number of security agencies last year, April, with funding from the U.S. Embassy, with collaboration from our brothers from North Dakota. Beyond, and of course, some of the consultation that has been going on already will go into the plan that the president has asked the Interior Ministry and National Security to put together. I think that those 3 points cover largely what we're talking about. And then we talked a bit about the Wager Ridge, where sand winning is currently ongoing at the Wager Ridge. The mountain is being deteriorated more. It's very unfortunate, and I know the security agencies have a lot of work to do when it comes to that. But
especially
from NADMO, the plan is still being put together. That's what Mr. AC is telling us.
especially when we have made plans or put together ideas some weeks ago to specifically, and remember, in 2018, that particular place became a very serious place that we ought to edit or more probably remove people from. Because we realized that regardless of what was happening, there are 5,000 lives at the Wager Ridge alone that were being threatened. And we have done stories, government agencies have actually threatened to remove the people. In fact, we even asked that the people should at least comply on their own, move to safer grounds so that when any incident happens, they are not in trouble. Regardless whether or not there will be an earthquake anytime soon, that's a hugely threatened area. And that's one important part. I get worried.
Raymond, give me a moment,
Especially-
okay? Raymond, give me a moment, okay? I'm also worried as you are. But Professor Emmanuel Amamuochiri is the executive director for the Center for Remote Sensing and Geographic Information Service. So he's a retired executive director for Remote Sensing and Geographic Information Service Center in the University of Ghana. Good morning, Prof. Thanks for your time.
Yeah, good morning.
Let me ask a question that may seem crass. Is this much ado about nothing?
No, it's not much ado about nothing. I think the frequency of the tremors now is warning us that it's not much ado about nothing, but to brace up for more frequency. And possibly among the occurrences, maybe one day, if we are not lucky, we'll then get on a higher value, or if we say the power will be raised from around 3 to 4 to 5 to 6, then it's going to be a little bit more serious and disastrous.
Very worrying. At this stage, Prof, are you able to predict the time within which a quake of that magnitude is expected?
I wouldn't stick too much on that, because even in Japan and elsewhere where the engineering aspect of it is very high, sometimes they are caught unaware. And then explanations are coming, and some are saying, well, the seismic instrument over there was faulty or something happened, and excuses are then given. So the cause of it and the exactness of when it will happen is not too important.
Okay.
But bracing up when it happens, or preparing the mind to know, to have a behavioral pattern that becomes more or less the national psyche, especially for those areas that will be identified as prone areas.
So, Prof, in your perspective, can you give us an assessment of our preparedness to deal with any sort of disaster of this sort?
I don't think our preparation is enough, critically even enough, or diagnostically enough. Now, people will do some public relation to say they are ready, but let it happen, and you will see that we are not actually. Even where the serious dislocations will come, we don't know. I mean, let us assume that it happens at, say, Kokrobite, close to the tolling station, and the road is cracked, and you have all sorts of equipment, heavy equipment, to reach there to lift something off for people trapped under it, or that to come out, and the road is cracked. Where are you going to take alternatives B or C. So we look at the whole thing, and I think the talking is much more of trying to do some public relations. But the most important to me is that information has to be paramount. For instance, it has happened. People have called in, or on your own initiative, you have called in and people are responding. This is a valuable data. They are calling from certain points. They can be plotted. So we get density or dot map of where people reacted, that they felt it. That becomes a valuable data, spatial data. And we compiled it from time to time as it happens. And then we are getting more solid information for managing whatever that will come. So it should be part of the general preparation or the general the capacity building.
Right. Prof, so from what I'm hearing you say, we are not ready and there is a lot more that we can do.
Yes.
Prof Amamwetwe, where should we begin from? There's a conversation that has been happening about the density of the population in these earthquake-prone zones. In your view, what should be the solution to that?
Yeah, but first, let me take it this way, yes.
Mm-hmm.
But where is the map? Where is the density? Where are the roads there? Who is there? Of what socioeconomic status? Etc., etc., etc. That then gives you the point of reference. So that when you are planning, you know what is there, you know whatever is going to be the set of challenges and possibilities and so on and so forth. The spatial information, that one we can all contribute towards building it. Then with information, it may even reduce the cost of any intervention because we may suggest all sorts of things. For instance, let's suggest that some buildings should be pulled down. Fine. If it is affecting you, it's affecting me, and I have no alternative place, it's the government that should have to provide a place. Is it ready? Now, if it so happens, we don't know even the households in that particular point or in that building, that will suggest if we have to plan for evacuation and then we put them at school and so on and so forth buildings, where is the data? So now that is becoming reality. First of all, the technical information like the network of seismic instruments should be densified. That is, and I may perhaps say that the prospecting for oil is about one of the contributory factors to certain places which were not experiencing air tremors previously, and they are becoming frequent.
Interesting.
We would directly say the fracking of oil, and fracking makes getting the gas easier, cheaper. And businessmen will take the cheaper alternative. And associated with it is seismic activity. It has happened elsewhere in U.S., Oklahoma, so data is there. Point of reference is there to prove that where you are bent on getting the gas and the oil, all these things are associated factors. So the oil companies, not the oil company, but those who are prospecting, and they should help us build up network of seismic sensing instruments along the coast, and then in Accra, and in places of high density, so that these things, apart from people reporting, we may get also records. For instance, I felt that one, which was last Saturday, but I attributed it to a passing truck. So I said, oh, no, this is not an earthquake. But then I woke up to hear that it was earthquake. So some of these things, we need information from several sources.
Okay.
The instrument itself is incontrovertible. For instance, I understand there's one at Weija where the dam is. Fine. If it is working efficiently, fine. If it is not working or it is faulty and from time to time it has to be activated, we must say the geological survey should take it as a matter of concern. Team up to get data recording or data production very important.
Thank you very much, Prof. Amamo Otwere, for joining us this morning.
You're welcome.
Professor Amamo Otwere is the retired executive director for the Center for Remote Sensing and Geographic Information Services at the University of Ghana. It's 6 minutes to the top of the hour. So, interesting point that Prof. Amamo Otwere made about how oil exploration using fracking can contribute to this. Would delve a bit more into that subject. Would also be telling you, if you're listening to us and you think that the only fault lines in Ghana are at Kaswa and Weija, you may be wrong. It's wider than that. There are other areas that are earthquake prone in the country. We'll tell you exactly where when we come back. Stay with us.
I want you to first think big, not small. Think of how great we can be when we work together. Together, we can ensure that our hard work will provide a better future. Together, we can provide a foundation for you and your business to succeed, regardless of its size. Together, we can create opportunities for all. Bank with us today and let's journey forward together. Cowbank, forward together. Sanya mwa jay atumuno sana yeso ye jay moho and nothing ye wu queer the jade bro. Annie, this is the Market Day Wednesday. There is always good news when you buy from Malcolm, but there's extra super on every first and third Wednesday of the month. With your Malcolm Super Saver card, you earn a whooping 10% on all purchases worth 150 Ghana cedis and above. Nakai hunu se ukede di kaini ukede tosu miensa wo busumi biamu na sajadi yikoswo. Koso Malcolm shop will be a Ghana Finance. Hurry, look for your Malcolm Super Saver discount card and be part of this fantastic offer. And just in case you don't have, walk to any of our Malcolm branches nationwide and grab one for yourself. Discount is not valid on product already on offer. And remember, terms and conditions apply. Malcolm, where Ghana shops.
The management of the National Service Scheme wishes to announce to the general public that eligible Ghanaians who missed the opportunity to do their national service in previous years and now wish to do so have the opportunity to enroll from Monday 21st January 2019 to Friday 29th March 2019. Applicants are to present the following documents: a letter requesting for PIN code, a certified true copy of school certificate or transcript, evidence of deferment, an attestation or introductory letter from the institution attended, a copy of any of the following: voter's ID, driver's license, passport and national ID card, and a copy of school ID. International students are reminded to come along with their passports. All requirements are to be presented in photocopies. Applications should be delivered to NSS regional offices or the headquarters, National Service Scheme number 46 Patrice Lumumba Road, Airport Residential Area, Accra. For further inquiries, please contact NSS on 0302 772714 or visit www.nss.gov.gh. NSS, service to the nation.
Click, send, download, server down, upload, buzz, buffer, Wi-Fi down, print, ping.
call, connection lost, video call, vibrate, transfer, call, share, receive. That's the sound of the pace of business today. Airtel Tigo Business provides you with a full suite of flexible mobile plans, value-added services, and reliable fixed services for the startups, SMEs, and corporate businesses, so you can adapt, develop, expand, and progress. Contact us today at business@airteltigo.com.gh so we can help your business evolve. Airtel Tigo Business, making business simple.
At Afrodan, we believe that many of the problems people have with their health is as a result of the way they sit. In other words, your chair can kill you. Here's Dr. Marcus Mann of the Chiropractic and Wellness Center.
What you have to remember is that the spine is the lifeline to your body, and posture is the window to that spine. Now, posture is affected by your daily activities and habits like sitting. That's why at the Chiropractic and Wellness Centers, we recommend what I believe to be the best chairs available for preventing not only subluxations, but also other health problems that you may not be aware of. And that's Rabami and Mobilex chairs. Unfortunately, on a daily basis, I have to correct the effects of this poor sitting habit in our businessmen and businesswomen. Always remember, optimal spine equals optimum health.
So, for the sake of your health, buy Rabami or Mobilex chairs from Afrodan. We're on the first floor of the Swansea Shopping Arcade. Telephone 663-085.
Hey, Kwame, what's up here?
My brother, my wife has been diagnosed with cancer.
What?
My brother is here with kidney disease too.
Oh, yeah.
Do you know the World Health Organization estimates that over 16,000 new cases of cancers are diagnosed annually in Ghana, and kidney diseases account for 10% of all medical admissions to Korle Bu?
But thanks to Glycocritical Illness Plan, GSIP, I have spent over 20,000 Ghana cedis on my younger brother's disease. Yeah. What is GSIP?
Glycocritical Illness Plan, GSIP, provides you with financial support when diagnosed with any critical illness or dread disease such as cancers, strokes, kidney failures. Speak to GlycoLife today on 0302-218-500 for your GSIP policy. It is definitely in our interest to survive. GlycoLife, we cushion you for life.
And Daryl here with the Joy Business Minutes.
Making news this morning.
The former Chief Operating Officer of GCB, Samuel Sapon, is likely to be named as the new Managing Director of National Investment Bank, NIB. Meanwhile, Economist and Finance Ministry representative on the board, Michael Ayensu, has been appointed as Acting Board Chair.
Omni Bank and Sahel Sahara have announced the completion of a merger process. The two entities will now operate under the merged name Omni Bisek Bank Ghana Limited, according to a release issued today.
As part of efforts to reduce the growing housing deficit, government is set to roll out an affordable housing project known as Ekufuado Flats this year. The Ministry for Works and Housing has begun negotiations with the Ministry of Finance for execution of the project.
And elsewhere, the Chief Financial Officer of China's tech giant Huawei is suing Canada over her arrest at the request of the U.S. Meng Wanzhou was held in December at Vancouver Airport on suspicion of fraud.
You're up today.
Join us again at 3:06.
Since inception, almost 100% of Ashesi University students have found jobs, started businesses, or gone on to graduate school within 6 months of graduation. From Accra to Nairobi, London to New York, Ashesi graduates are noticed and they are leading successful careers. If you dream of a rewarding life and career, an Ashesi education prepares you for just that. Learn more about applying to Ashesi at www.ashesi.edu.gh. Remember, admission is ongoing.
Some things give you a key to open doors that don't exist yet. Some things take you a step into another generation, and there are only a few things like that. Samsung is giving you one of such things. The new Samsung Galaxy S10, a future-packed phone with a first-of-its-kind intuitive camera that will let you capture things beyond what the eye can see. So much battery power that you can actually go beyond, and share power, a borderless infinity display that will give you a view into the future beyond. It's time to go beyond this generation. All with one phone, celebrating 10 years of Galaxy innovation. Make that leap with the Samsung Galaxy S10e, S10 and S10 Plus. Pre-order today and get yourself a free Samsung Galaxy Buds. Terms and conditions apply.
3 minutes past 9 here on the Super Morning Show on Joy 99.7 FM. My name is Daniel Daze. Thanks for joining us. If you just joined us, you missed quite an interview we had with George AEC. He's the Public Relations Officer for the National Disaster Management Organization, NADMO. We were speaking to him on the government's new directive, or the president, I should say, his new directive to the Ministries for Interior and National Security, asking them to put together an earthquake prevention plan, or an earthquake preparedness plan is what I should say. Now, I was querying Mr. AEC a bit further on preparations we have done in the past. He says a simulation has been done last year, and beyond that, some consultation has been done with other partner agencies to prepare for the possibility of an earthquake, and that going forward, more education materials will be rolled out in about 2 weeks. He says that for the people living at the Weija Ridge area, by end of day today, we would know what government's intentions are for the people living there. We also spoke with Prof. Amamu Ochiri, who gave us very interesting views. Okay, so fracking is when you pump water or a liquid into a rock, basically, to split the rock. Basically, that's it. Now, this is done in the sea, where we are looking for oil. So that's how we used to split. We split those rocks to get the oil from them. It's a very simplistic explanation that I'm giving right now. It's not extensive, but in a nutshell, that's what it is. Basically, that's what it is. And he is pointing to fracking as one of the things that is increasing the number of earth tremors we are having and increasing the possibility of a major earthquake. He points to other areas in the world. Now, Enima will be taking us through some of these areas where we've seen major earthquakes, what it cost them, what the fatalities were, what we should be looking at as a country if we want to prepare for the possibility of earthquake. But before that, I made you a promise before I went to the break, that Raymond will be taking us through the areas within the country that are earthquake prone. He will bring that to us in a moment, but Roverman Productions, in partnership with Joy FM and National Theatre, presents the brand new Abel White play titled Dora. Why? As a National Theatre on 6th, 7th, 20th, 21st and 22nd of April 2019 at 4 p.m. and 8 p.m. each day. I get excited whenever there's an Abel White play coming up. I don't know why. But early bird tickets for Dora Why are available from now till 23rd March 2019 at 60 Ghana cedis each. The early bird tickets can be used for the first weekend shows only. Regular tickets for the shows sell at 80 Ghana cedis. The outlets are here at Joy FM. Shell shops at Airport, Dansoman, Sakaman, East Legon, at Chimota and Tema Community, 11 Bachona and Hachoto Town Motorway Supermarket. Gold shops at 37 Sakaman and Mile 7. Frankie's at Osuku can find supermarket opposite UPSA at Medina. You may also buy your tickets through Roverman Productions mobile money platforms on MTN, Vodafone and Airtel Tigo. Details are on the websites rovermanproductions.com and other social media platforms. Make further inquiries by calling 050-554-6010, WhatsApp 050-554-6030 or email tickets at rovermanproductions.com. Buy your tickets for Dora. Why? Now. Roverman Productions, be the difference.
Let the dancing begin.
This Independence Labadi Beach Hotel is the place. It's the Independence concert featuring the Beam Commander, Stone Boy, live on stage with the Beam Band, Ovi, Kelvin Boy, and DJ Justice. Yeah, it's all fun. The Independence concert with Stone Boy and friends at Labadi Beach Hotel, 6 p.m. on the 5th of March. Get tickets at 250 cedis VVIP, 150 cedis VIP, and 100 cedis regular at Labadi Beach Hotel, Airport Shell Station, Koala Shopping Center. Ticketmiller.com, Bachona Total, X-Men Grooming, and Joy FM. It's the Independence concert with Stone Boy at Labadi Beach Hotel.
Put up on no answer again, and in the year all of the
Batman. That's right, join us.
Enjoy on this morning show is always Joy 99.7 FM.
That's right, so you can join us at the Labadi Beach Hotel for the Stone Boy concert tomorrow, the 5th of March 2019. 100 CDs, 150 CDs, and 250 CDs, regular VIP and VVIP, respectively. But later on the show, we'll be talking about a family, extended family, and its relevance in today's culture. Very, very riveting conversation we're going to have. But it's time to experience something different, unexpected, and definitely beyond banking. It's a new era at GCB Bank. We are bigger and better with an exceptional team of diverse professionals, variety of products and services. GCB Bank offers you a world of financial security, flexibility, and convenience so you can smile all the time. And when you need a personal loan, we give it to you in 24 hours. 24 hours, while making sure the experience is always memorable. GCB Bank is bigger and better, ready to take you beyond banking. GCB Bank, your bank for life. Raymond.
Yes, so let's start with these highest risk zones. So if you're living in this area specifically, okay, let me bring in the epicenters. The epicenters are Azim in the western region. We're talking about Elmina too in the central region, and Gomoa Fete. These Gomoa places are very important. Gomoa Fete, Nyenyano, Weja, then also Accra and Tema. Now, within the same Accra and Tema zone, there are also very high risk areas, extremely high risk areas. One of the epicenters, which is outside these coastal areas, is Ho. Yes. It's the only place up there.
I didn't know that.
That actually is within that. It's an epicenter.
It's an epicenter.
Not even the highest risk area.
So that means that
epicenter itself.
Technically, that's where it would start from.
Very good. So Ho is in that belt. Now, Sekondi, Cape Coast, Salt Pond, Nakwa, Winneba are all part of the highest risk zones in this case. Now, if we move beyond the highest risk zones, there are also some risk zones like Akosombo, also Takwa, there's Insawam, and Koforidua. They are equally very high risk zones. And if you go to the category C grouping, they are just risk zones, not highest or extremely high risk zones. We are looking at Pando, we are looking at Obuase, we are looking at other places like Keta, and also, I mentioned Akosombo earlier.
Yeah.
Then the other risk zones, which is just in the extremely low risk zone area, is the Kumasi, Sunyani, and the Wenchi areas. So predominantly, you can look at the southern to the middle belt of the country. But there are some that I just mentioned. The names I just mentioned are either in the highest, the epicenter, or high risk zones. So that's how relevant, those places are to any incident that may happen along the coast, more importantly. And one thing that you would not identify is that predominantly, most of the cities along the coast are in the highest risk zones.
So this is a matter of concern. And like I was saying earlier, it's not just limited to the people around the coast because of the way our economy is arranged. We have a lot of activity here along the coast. A lot of people in the hinterland do business here as well. So there's a lot of reason for you to come to Takoradi. There's a port there for you to come to Accra. There's an airport. There's a port here. And a number of the coastal areas. There's also the tourism that goes on along the coast. So really, if you're listening to us anywhere across the country, this is something that should matter to you immensely. So what if you are indoors or you're outdoors during an earthquake? Anyone, what do you do?
Okay, so the first thing that you should do is drop to the ground by getting under a sturdy table or other piece of furniture and hold on until the shaking stops. If there isn't a table or a desk near you, you should cover your face and head with your arms and crouch in an inside corner of the building. It's important that you stay away from glass, stay away from the windows, the outside doors and walls, and anything that could fall, such as lighting fixtures or furniture. If you're in bed when there's an earthquake, you need to hold and protect your head with a pillow, unless you're a heavy light fixture, unless you're under a heavy light fixture, that could fall. In that case, move to the nearest safe place. It's important that you stay inside until the shaking stops and it's safe to go outside. Don't exit a building during the shaking. Research has shown that most injuries occur when people inside buildings are trying to move outside or to other parts of the building. So try and stay where you are and try and be safe in that space. And then obviously the lights will probably go off and all of that's what you can expect. If you're outside, what you should do is stay where you are, move away from buildings, street lights and utility wires, and once you're in the open, stay there until the shaking stops. If you're in a moving vehicle, stop as quickly as you can and stay in the vehicle. Avoid stopping near or under buildings, trees, overpasses, and utility wires. Proceed cautiously once the earthquake has stopped. Avoid roads, bridges, or ramps that might have been damaged by the earthquake. Now, if you're trapped under rubbish, basically, or if build whatever, if anything has fallen on you and you're trapped, don't light a match. Do not move around or kick up dust. Cover your mouth with a handkerchief or a piece of clothing. Tap on a pipe or wall so that rescuers can locate you. It says use a whistle if one is available, but I don't know how many people are walking around with whistles in anticipation of. So perhaps it's a good time, maybe keep one in your car or something like that. And shout only as a last resort. Shouting can cause you to inhale dangerous amounts of dust.
So that's what to do if you're indoors, you're outdoors,
you're in a moving vehicle, or if you're trapped under
debris.
Yes.
Okay, so that's where we are now. It's nearly time for us to move to our next subject to discuss this morning. But you know what? Let me just take a final comment. We will open the phone lines later on in the show. You can comment on this as well. But let me just take a final comment on some of these issues from my friends around the table. I would begin with the text message that I got. It says, I'm very certain that should the Ghana Geological Survey be well equipped, it will be in the best position to at least predict the after effect. That's the radius of the quake, the fracture length of the cracks. See all these geoscientific data on this geohazard. I believe it should be the responsibility of the Geological Survey, and it's been stated in the bill. So what's preventing the government from better equipping the authority? Till now, they don't even have a board yet. Whenever there's a tremor, it's like all the other institutions wants to say something. Let me read this one. It says, good morning. Please let's not forget the Ouija Dam, the main water treatment plant that serves Accra and its environs with potable water is located in that zone. Is there any plan toward possible water production in case we lose it? I'm from Sarib in Odumase Krobo. Very important question. Sarib, all the water that we drink is passing through that area. Okay. Anyone, give us a few more of the messages.
Cosby says, are we prepared for an earthquake? No, Daniel. Our very nature as Ghanaians is to not be prepared for anything. We're only prepared for what will happen today, rant about it the next day, laugh over it the following 2 days, and all will go to sleep after the next big thing. The rains are coming. Go around the city to witness the skyscrapers of filth awaiting the rains. It's a sad phenomenon. This one says, hi, Daniel. NADMO stands for No Action Dull, mainly orators. That's from Akosua. This
no, wait, NADMO, no action dull, mainly orators.
Yeah.
That's very mean.
Koshi Apalu says, hello, Daniel. Question to ask the gentleman in studio, I guess he means on the phone lines, is why not ask experts from Japan and the likes to come and assess the situation? This is because these experienced guys can predict to close to when an earthquake will occur, including the gravity of it.
All right. So thanks so much for sending the messages. We'll be reading more of them and opening the phone lines later on in the show. But it's time for us to play our Ghana Month feature for today. And today we are focusing on the family. You know what? Traditionally and for centuries, Akans have considered the extended family as a critical part of our lives. Now, when it comes to marriage, funerals, everything basically in the life of an individual, you need a family member. Like I was telling Reverend Kojo Frimpong in the morning, those of us unmarried ones, we are very, very concerned about extended family because our time is coming soon. That's just by the way. But the way society is gradually changing, it appears the position of the extended family in the lives of the individual has changed. So I set out to look at, how our perception towards extended family has changed in this report.
Yes, in the past, where communal living was common, caring for a child was a shared family responsibility. But a lot has changed today. A lot of people do not look beyond the nuclear family, father, mother, and siblings. So sometimes the extended family is considered a nuisance.
Hundreds of people that I hardly know, each one of them giving instructions because somehow I am related to them.
Meet Mamiefua, a 23-year-old newlywed who says her wedding day was marred by her extended family.
It began way before the wedding. You know, there's this uncle of mine out of nowhere, and actually I'd never even seen him before. He wrote a long list of items for my fiancé to buy. And on my wedding day, some cousins nearly caused commotion because they said they had not been served their food early enough. Wow, show.
Mommy show, mommy show, mommy show, mommy show, mommy show.
Mame is from Kromanting in the central region. And though extended families are an important part of Akan culture, she grew up with a single mother.
Well, most of my life it's just been my mom and I.
She is not alone. Research by a doctoral candidate in the University of Ghana Department of Social Work carried out in 2014 found that the traditional family is undergoing some transformations from the traditional extended family to a modernized nuclear family. For Tufuhini of the Akwemu traditional area, Nana Ofe Bwedu, that's where the problem begins.
Myself, my wife, and my children alone live in the house. And then the other extended family, when they come, they become strangers in the entire family. I mean, we don't recognize them. And this, for me, is creating a lot of problems to our society now. One, it is likely that you can go out and meet your own brother and be dating. This is one thing that we should look at. So it's always good for us to go back and make sure that we train our children to recognize these extended people because they play a major role in our lives. We see ourselves as each other's keeper. For instance, if you talk about the uncles, they are in charge of the children. They are, as a matter of fact, making sure that they discipline and then they train the children in the house. So you being the father in the house, even though you are the head of the family, the uncles control, because if they die, it is your children that are going to succeed them. So they make sure that they toe a certain line of life, which is disciplined enough, so that when they are gone, they can succeed them.
Mame, however, believes in spite of the extended family system's benefits, it's not relevant for modern society, especially the matrilineal mode of inheritance for her Akan people.
I don't even understand how this thing works.
Maybe Nana Ofe Bwedu can help.
This came as a result of the creation of the Black Stool. Now, there's one school of thought that says that when the family system were there, it was just an ordinary system. So at a point, the family decided that let us all come together and then make sure that we lean towards something. And so by so doing, they created the stool. So when the stool was carved, they all said that this is something that all of us are going to look up to spiritually to kind of bind all of us together as a family. So at that point, how do we preserve this stool? Because it's a wood. And my brother, blood is a very perfect preservative. So then they decided that why don't we use blood? Because as of that time, you cannot think about something like formalin or any other preservatives that we know of late. Then the elder or the chief, so to speak, said, okay, why don't I fall on one of my children? Because we need blood. And then the wife said, no, I'm not going to allow you to kill my children. And then the sister volunteered her son to be used as a sacrifice. So they used that to create a blood stool so that all of them will have their connection spiritually in the stool. So then the chief said that, okay, since my son did not allow, or my wife did not allow my son to be used, and my sister did, so when I die, my sister's child should succeed me. This is one side of the story. Another side of the story is that the chief got sick, and there was a need for a human sacrifice before he can get healed. And that also, the wife prevented the son to be sacrificed. And it is the sister who said that, no, I want my chief to live. And so sacrificed the son. And so the chief said, henceforth, if I die, my sister's son, that is the first son, should succeed.
There is, however, a contrary opinion. Professor Albert Awedoba of the Institute of African Studies of the University of Ghana pointed out.
In a strictly patrilineal society, that is, you are assuming that this society was patrilineal before it moved on and became matrilineal. In a strictly patrilineal society, it's not possible for the mother to deny the father's right to do with his children as he sees pleased, because the children belong more with the father than with the mother. So if you are saying that the mother in this case could prevent this from happening, okay, it is rather the sister who was able, but that sister, is it possible that sister had a husband? And if the sister had a husband, where was that husband? And the husband allowed this to happen. Of course, it's possible that the sister didn't have any husband at all.
Is this why people like Mame are so bent on departing from the extended family system, as research suggests? Has the legend simply fallen flat in the face of logic and critique? Prof believes it's a much simpler phenomenon.
Money now rules everything. People are now realizing the importance of whatever it is, the monetary value of that. And they are not willing to part, okay, with that in favor of their relative. But in a more simplistic kind of society that we used to have, where money existed, okay, but it was less of a factor, all right? Technology was much, much simpler, okay, conservation. Now we have banks where you can save your excess money. In the past, we didn't have those kinds of banking systems. Even food stuff, my harvest, okay, what I harvest from my farm. Yeah, now I can go and I put in the refrigerator to last for some time, right? I can sell it in the marketplace and get that money, keep that money, and whenever I need food, I can go back and buy it. In the past, we didn't have these facilities. So my bank was my relatives, okay? I bank by sharing with my relatives. Okay, whatever I consider as surplus, I share with them. And it was good to do that because someday, if I happen to be in need, I'll go to my bank, that is my relations, and withdraw. And they'll be ready to support me just as I supported them. But in the modern day context is different. Now there are banks. There is what we call general purpose currency, okay, which translates almost everything into monetary terms, all right? So people now no longer see the essence of continuing to invest in the family when there is a more acceptable, a more dependable system, okay? Because in the past, I could invest in a relative, that relative probably dies. Doesn't mean that my investment is gone. Or that relative never really succeeds in getting anything that I can go and expect him to share with me. But in the banking system, when I put my money in the bank, although the CD depreciates so fast, I can expect that someday If I need my money, I can go there and withdraw the money and use it for whatever purpose I want to use it for.
So that's the Ghana Month feature for today. We talked about family and extended. You see, I felt like putting this together, Raymond. I feel like at the end of this day, because you spend so much time chasing this person down for an interview, trying to do this research, trying to get this info together, and then Prof. Awedoba tells me, "Oh, people don't like families because of money." I'm like, I could have said that at the very, very beginning. We could save ourselves some time. But it was a very interesting journey getting to that point. We'll open the phone lines 0302-216-541, 0244-340437. But Raymond, in the first place, and also we have put a poll on Twitter. It's very important. A poll is on Twitter. Is Ghana prepared for an earthquake? Vote and retweet. Vote and retweet. Vote and retweet. I didn't say call my number. Okay. So, Raymond, your views on extended family generally?
See, I grew up with my extended family. My grandfather was phenomenal and relevant in my upbringing. That's without doubt. My only difficulty is that as the years go by, I'm being pushed farther and farther away from the man. So a man that I used to speak to consistently, now he's very far from me. Again, as I also grow, I get to discover members of my family, sometimes with shock, and other times I realize, okay, so it's a bigger unit that we are dealing with. I have fond memories of how family members used to gather Christmas 24th night, and there is a party, everybody is participating. You share rooms with people that are your cousins, and there are other people too involved in all of that. I miss those moments for the reasons that are essential to me today. I think that the elements of having to grow and having society virtually disintegrating to smaller units and people moving out of their zone, I think also elements of globalization made it difficult. So now my family is dispersed all over the place, on different continents. And I don't think, unless somebody very prominent in the family dies, I get 1/3 of them gathering like the way we used to do when I was young. How this affected me, I think I learned from so many people, so many good things from a bigger pool. I doubt if my kids will get that same experience.
But Uncle White believes that this isn't such a big trade-off. It's just the way the world has become anymore, and we must just live with it.
Yes, I remember that I was listening to Trevor Noah once, and he was talking to Oprah, and they talk about the fact that in the traditional African setting, the reason why sometimes people are moving away from family is because when one person makes it, so you hear stories, maybe not so much these days, but you hear stories about how somebody is the first person to go to university, somebody is the first person to become a banker. And then the thing is, when you get to that level, it becomes difficult to build a portfolio of wealth because the responsibility of taking care of the whole extended family then falls on you. And so you find that you're pulling everybody along. And so there was that conversation about that aspect of the extended family system, where people were then beginning to encourage their children, that look, if you make it, the people that matter are your mother, your father, or your siblings, as opposed to the extended family system. You don't have to agree with it, but this is what some people think. But it's a fact. Can I finish? Can I finish, please? I'm not done. No, if I was done, I would have been quiet. I wouldn't have said, can I finish? But I have met people, and I'm saying this because I've actually met people, and I know families where the kids have done really well, and they have said, listen, focus on your family, focus on building an inheritance for your children. You cannot pull everyone along because it's almost one man for himself. Okay, I'm done now.
Okay, wonderful. So the point I wanted to make is
Raymond, Edwin just walked in.
Yes, I will
allow
acknowledge.
Edwin to talk.
Oh, just 1 minute before Edwin comes in.
1 minute, I'm timing.
Yes, I just feel that people, for example, who have benefited a lot from the extended family system, cannot give this rather skewed excuse.
Maybe they haven't benefited.
That you cannot, because you have come out of a system that's giving what you are of somebody. Some people, these people, even their uncles also contributed to pay their school fees. All of a sudden, they believe that it is only a smaller unit that should be benefiting from their largesse of whichever property they made within a period. It's not only selfish to me. I also think that it's part of the psychic of I think people call it the narcissistic view of life.
Where you focus so much on yourself.
Yes. If you really want to live life, if you really want to live life properly, it should be to what extent have you impacted not a smaller grouping,
but you can only give out of what you have. If you don't fill up your cup, how do you pour out of it?
But you see, Edwin, some people see it as an investment. Tomorrow is Tuesday. Tomorrow, Kennedy Japan will come on Bedroom on Adum TV. Yeah. There will be at least 20 people standing outside of, and this is something that happens every Tuesday, standing outside
except that tomorrow is going to be more than 20 people because you've just said that this is what is going on.
No, it is not. Listen, the fact that I'm saying it makes no difference at all. Every Tuesday you find at least 20 to 30 people standing outside waiting for him to come and make some sort of contribution. Why do they keep coming? He contributes to them. Because, I mean, if he was known that he will not mind you, there will be no point in coming. There are days that he stays there and he gives out money to at least everybody gets something from him. And you look at the amount of money that he gives out, and you know he's still a man that is well off. So is this really a question of, if I take care of a lot of people, I will not get enough for myself, Edwin?
Difficult question, but from the way you are raving about Ken, I wouldn't be surprised if you join the queue tomorrow.
Low blow. I've been sucker punched twice on the show today. My own show.
You know, but I understand. I understand. You know, the only problem is that whilst being able to cut off the extended family system, even within the new nuclear family system, a new cut-off point is emerging. Sons and daughters have cut off their uncles. Now sons and daughters are cutting off their fathers and mothers. Yeah. You see, which means that the whole idea that the extended family system was problematic was really not the problem. The problem appears to be what maybe I agree partially that we are becoming, what is it,
narcissistic.
What?
Narcissistic. You know the word. Do stop joking.
That word.
Every time you want to say, just give me an eye, I'll say it for you.
That word Raymond was using. You see, the nuclear family system has solved the problem of helping people to manage their own lives within their own means. What it appeared not to have solved is the advantage that the extended family system brings, which is taking care of the family. We have too many women who have to drive their children to work, infants at work.
Not just women, men as well.
Men as well, exactly. Because they have nobody else to take care of them. There is a new industry emerging where grandmothers who are unrelated to other people are being hired to take care of the home. Yeah. You see? So whilst the nuclear family system is solving certain problems, the philosophy on which it is based, which is basically, if you like, for the want of a better word, free market, capitalism and everything, has failed to solve the problem of how to raise a generation. Yeah. And what is going to happen in the near future is that we will have a lot of families who are rich and powerful, but who are lonely.
Who don't have proper values.
Exactly.
Exactly. I wish I had a great song to play on the back of that. I'm going to take these important messages when I come back. When I come back, I would open the phone lines 0302-216-541, 0244-340437. So there are two questions on the table today. Number one, is Ghana prepared for an earthquake? Call us and tell us what you think. Number two, is the extended family system still relevant today? Stay with us. We'll be right back.
Now, this very moment, it's the pulse of possibility, potential.